I've watched 2 movies in a row, very different films taking place in England. Is that your first time hearing a Kentucky boy talk in a British accent? Probably. What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back once again to my channel. This is my second video of the day. First up was Mary Poppins Returns, and now we are talking about The Favorite, a movie that I actually watched right before Mary Poppins Returns. This is a movie that I was anticipating. I was a little hesitant about it, but I heard good things going in, so I was excited to watch the film. If you guys don't know how my reviews work, I like to talk about the good, the bad, and then give you my score. I continue to give you this spiel, but I want you guys to know there is a lot of stuff coming out on this channel in the next few days. I have best and worst on Netflix, counting down my superhero films next week, my top 10 best and worst of the year, but right now we are talking The Favorite, a movie I had to watch before I made that top 10 best list, and I'm glad I watched it. Let's talk about the good. So in 18th century England, the close relationship between Queen Anne and Sarah Churchill is threatened by the arrival of Sarah's cousin Abigail Hill, resulting in a bitter rivalry between the two cousins to be the Queen's favorite. And what a film this was. It is not going to be for everyone, but this is the most audience-friendly movie that Yorgos Lanthimos has done so far, and I do believe The Favorite is his best movie. I watched Killing of a Sacred Deer. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as a lot of people liked it. I thought it was a bit underwhelming. Enjoyed the film style, enjoyed the technical aspects, but the story did not grip me like the story for The Favorite did, and the performances, while they were great, these performances are some of the best I've seen all year. Olivia Colman, Rachel Weisz, and Emma Stone, all three are going to be considered for Oscars, should get nominated for Oscars. And another performance that not a lot of people have been talking about that I've heard of so far, Nicholas Hoult gives possibly my best performance that he has ever given, other than, of course, our boy in Mad Max and the Beast in X-Men. I like those for other reasons, but acting-wise, I think he is brilliant in this film. All of the performances are top-notch. They should be nominated, considered, possibly winning level performances. Now, I did just see Emily Blunt and Mary Poppins. That was a great performance, but it's just going to be such a great competition, as it should be, because the director just brought out so much in these characters, and the writing, some of the best writing I have seen all year. The dialogue is so crisp, it's funny, it's witty, it's off the cuff, it seems like, and it has that level of humor. Some of the humor is in your face in a good way. Some of the humor is subtle. It has the best balance of two completely different styles of humor that I have seen all year, and it's real dialogue. It's not like these people were completely proper and they are completely against humor. No, there's a bit of cornball in here. These characters are goofy. They are not afraid to be themselves. They're not afraid to open up to the world, and that comes back to the plot and the direction that this movie goes, because it really does just open itself up and allow us to dissect what is happening. Even though we may not completely know what some of these metaphors mean, there's a lot of things in here that you really need to dive deep into, and I should have watched this movie twice before I reviewed it, just because there is a lot happening in the background, a lot to pay attention to, a lot of things, especially towards the end, that tie back to the beginning, things that characters say, lines of dialogue in the first half come back to play in the second half, and the way that the movie ends is going to be interpreted in different ways by a lot of different people. I'm not saying it's an open-ended ending, it's just an ending that you can think about and, oh, maybe it meant this, but maybe it meant this. Not Inception style. You'll know when you'll see it. It's hard to explain it, but it's something that people will be able to dissect, and I think that's going to make the movie even better in the long run. And here's an odd comparison. I enjoyed a movie like The Mule. I had a good time in the theater, but once I walked out and started to think about it and dissect the characters and some of the acting, I really kind of cooled down on the film. I didn't like it as much as I did when I walked out. With The Favorite, I don't know if I sat there and I was on the edge of my seat like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? No, I was just invested in these people's lives. So the entertainment factor, while it was there, it wasn't super strong, and I wasn't super like on the edge of my seat, but after I walked out and I started to think about it and I started to dissect the characters and what that ending actually meant and how some characters were just completely treated in the wrong way and got completely screwed over, if we're being honest. I'm not going to say who. It really made me like this movie so much more, and those are the best movies in my opinion. The ones where you can walk out, think about it a little bit, dissect, have conversations with your friends. Unfortunately, I saw this by myself, so I couldn't have any conversations, but I still really enjoyed just sitting and writing out my review on Letterboxd and thinking about it, and that made the movie even better. Lanthimos always brings a distinct style in his films. Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Lobster, they're all odd, they're quirky, and The Favorite is probably his most quirky film, but like I said at the beginning of this review, it's also his most audience-friendly. You can get on board with these characters, you can understand this a bit better than something like The Killing of a Sacred Deer, and you can get invested in these characters a little bit more, and I loved the technical aspects, the film style, using the fisheye lens for certain situations, close-ups, and he always does this, but I noticed it even more in The Favorite. I love when we look up on a character. Usually, we're looking straight forward or down, but having the camera lower and looking up at Emma Stone's character and looking up at Olivia Colman's character, it was an interesting choice, and it allowed us to really dive even deeper into the psyche of them. It's something we see on television a lot, not as much in movies, but I really like the decision. Just the mixing of different film styles makes this film even better than I think it would have been, and it elevates the material as well. This movie was funny. The general audience that I was with, we were all laughing, invested. It takes some twists and turns that you definitely do not anticipate. I had no clue where this story was going, and I love how this giant war, this peace treaty, it's all going on in the background, but that's not what we're focused on. We're focused on the interactions, the jealousy. Within Rachel and Emma's characters, you don't know what's going to happen next between them. You can see it build up, and then once it comes to a head, and then once you get that reveal about halfway through the movie, you're like, oh, I did not see this coming, and it continues to increase. It continues to get a little bit more heated, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You've seen the movie, but it just, it keeps elevating, and once it comes to a head, it really, really hits. In terms of negatives, I mean, I don't have that many. It wasn't the most entertaining movie I've seen all year. There's not a major event that happens, but there doesn't need to be that. It's a story that sticks to its guns. It does exactly what it needs to do with really great dialogue, hilarious moments, and a bit of a seductive nature that I personally really enjoyed. Did not expect, and if I was there with my parents, I would have been like, ooh, I chose the wrong movie. Some of it may have been a bit too odd for people, and some of the dialogue might be a bit too much, and certain scenes, I have this complaint more often than not, carry on a bit too long. I think this movie could have been even shorter than it was, and I would not have been bothered by that, but overall, I think The Favorite was worth every penny if you're going and watching it in a theater, and I do think you need to see it before you guys at home make your top 10 lists for the end of the year, because if you are a fan of film and the technical aspects and the nature of what makes a good script, then I really do think you will enjoy The Favorite, and that is why I am going to give this movie a 93%. It is on the cusp of being in my top 10 movies of the year. I don't know if it's going to make it. I have to sit down, rack my brain, think about it, but I am so excited to finish that list off. Now that I have seen The Favorite, the last movie I have to see really is Vice, and then you guys are getting my top 10 list. Thank you so much for watching this video. What did you think of The Favorite? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Was it a bit too much? Was it a bit too pretentious for you? I understand that if you believe so, but for me, a guy that doesn't love period pieces as much as other people do, it really sucked me in and locked me into the story. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. You are the absolute best. I will be back tomorrow with another review, and I'll catch you later.